be honest, that's why Stenhousemuir are still going for a league title and we're not up there challenging. It's because we didn't take our chances when we had them. We had enough chances to win the game, in my opinion. I thought we had some really big chances. Credit, Jameson's made some good saves, but I feel as if we didn't capitalise on the chances that we had. And if you don't, then you're always going to leave yourself vulnerable. And they score a goal which is really poor from our perspective, but a good goal from Ross Taylor does really well. But I think defensively we've got to question marks be asked there. And I thought once they scored we lost our momentum a little bit. We lost our way for the next maybe 10-20 minutes or 10-15 minutes, sorry, and then we obviously go for it and try and throw as many forwards on as we can to try and get back in the game. But ultimately, up until Stenny scored, I felt as if we were the team that was going to score. I felt the chances we created, we missed a lot of big ones today, and ultimately that's why Stenny, credit to them, because that's what they're brilliant at. They hang in games. They've had a brilliant defensive record all season, and they've went and scored the goal when they knew they had to. So you've got to give them all the credit in the world, because they knew they had to score, they knew they had to win the game. But frustration from my perspective, because if you play like that and you get the amount of chances that we created, then you should be getting something from the game, and ultimately we haven't. So that's my big disappointment from it.
With the playoffs coming up as well, about Blow to have cut this go off as well, I know it's a bit too early, but do you know how he's doing? Or?
Yeah, listen, it's so hard to tell at this point. His ankle's swollen up a wee bit, so we'll need to wait and see how that settles down. But yeah, obviously that's a blow. That's something that you want to avoid, his injuries at this point in the season. But at the same time, Stenny have lost Big Nicky, and I feel for him, because I know the troubles he's had with his hamstring and things like that. So to see him go down with that again is, we wish him all the best in his recovery. We're hopeful that Curtis isn't too serious, but again, it's far too early for us to tell. It looks as if he's got a late challenge and he's went over on his ankle, so we'll just need to see how that settles down over the next couple of days. But yeah, the last thing you want is when you're already secured a playoff places to lose any players. So yeah, disappointed with that, obviously.
Look, Franklin did score really late on, but how did it look from the side?
I'll be honest, it didn't look like a foul, and neither did a lot of the decisions that were made today. I felt there was a lot of soft ones that were just play on. I think there's going to be contact in the game, but listen, it's easy for me to say that. Watch back and it probably will be contact. I don't know, but it was a great finish by Ranks, and like I said, my frustration doesn't come from that. My frustration actually doesn't come from refereeing decisions at all. My frustration comes from us not taking our opportunities when they come, and then like I said to them in there, the worst you should come away with is a 0-0. If you miss your chances, that can happen. It's the hardest thing in football to put the ball in the net, but we should then come away with that 0-0. So to lose the goal that we lost was really disappointing. But listen, fair play to Stenny, and good luck to them next week. You wish them all the best, and we need to get ourselves ready for the playoffs on the Tuesday. That's what we need to do. We need to pick ourselves up. We need to go in, full of confidence into next week, and then take that into Tuesday.
I'll say one last question. Obviously, you don't know who you're going to be meeting. How do you deal with having 4 potential opponents next week, or more than that? 5 maybe?
Listen, you focus on yourself. You focus on yourself first, because we know we're playing Queens next Saturday, and then the work will start from there, depending on what happens in that game, depending on what happens in other games. There's no point. The only thing we can affect is ourselves, and I want us to go and put a good performance on next week, and really, I don't think today was a bad performance. That's what I think. That's why I'm more frustrated than normal, because we should have got something out of the game. So next week, let's go and at home, last home league game of the season, let's go and put on a decent performance and get ourselves ready for Tuesday.
Sorry, thanks, Ange.
All right.